Most people live at only 40% of their true potential. That's David Goggins' message. We're going to be talking about his story, how his life is proof. He went from abuse, poverty, obesity, and having broken bones to becoming a Navy SEAL, ultra marathoner, and world record holder. His story is not about talent, it's about mindset. And today, we're going to break down the challenges from his book, Can't Hurt Me, so that you can apply these same principles into your life, your business, and your sales. David Goggins, he has overcome so many impossible odds and challenges and tasks that really would be impossible for the average person, but he does all of this through mental toughness, discipline, and relentless accountability. By the end of this training, you will know the exact challenges from each of the chapters in the book and how to apply them. Goggins' backstory, the 10 challenges from his book, and his most powerful stories of grit and resilience. David Goggins starts his story off in an abusive childhood. His father was very abusive, and him and his mother ended up running away. He shares in detail all the gritty things that had to happen in order for him to live a semi normal life, getting called the N word, getting abused, and suffering all kinds of poverty and abuse. He uses this pain to become fuel for living a higher and better life in his early on basketball career, but then he ends up failing over and over again. He failed multiple times in Bud's training, which is Navy SEAL training, with broken bones, but he pushed through and he endured, and he finally ended up becoming a Navy SEAL. This story is one of endurance and so much resilience. And I'm not going to be able to share all of his stories because that's the whole book. I want to talk more about the applicational principles from what he got out of all of his stories. So, the first challenge that he gives us when he's talking about abuse from his past is to face your past. Challenge number one is look at any trauma, any negative thing that could be potentially holding you back from your childhood or your past career, whatever it may be. Look at the past. Look at the things that are potentially holding you back from your story and change it. Write it down. Go through the nitty gritty parts of this. And then take a moment to look in the mirror and have some honesty. And that's where we get into challenge two, which is to write down your self truth. Take a moment, look in the mirror, think of all the things that you've been through, why you succeeded, why you didn't succeed, and be brutally honest about your current situation, and then write down everything you can to get out of it. Challenge number three is to step into some discomfort. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. As a door to door sales rep, I had to get out of a lot of comfort to be able to knock doors in the heat all day long, to talk to people. I am not naturally extroverted. I have to force myself to be extroverted. So step into whatever discomfort is. I have a friend, his name is Cade Peterson. His whole thing is to get out of your comfort zone. He does all these crazy challenges like letting a tarantula crawl on your face or doing something that would normally be embarrassing, like hot yoga in a full suit. And he does all these things to intentionally get out of his comfort zone so that he can grow. And you realize that when you do this, none of it matters. Do what you think is best for your life and what makes you feel the best while getting out of your comfort zone so that you can grow. The fourth challenge is to take souls. This is something that Goggins talked about a lot. When he would pass people in races, he would call it taking their soul. When he would do something outside of the ordinary that his instructors or teachers didn't believe was possible, he was taking their soul. So the challenge to you is to overcome other people's self-doubt and take their souls. Challenge 5 is to have an armored mind. This challenge is all about daily action and repetition, stretching your limits and staying accountable. Use those principles that you got from looking in the mirror and having some self-truth, some self-honesty, and then move forward with an armored mind. Challenge 6 and principle 6 that I really like is called the cookie jar. When you're going through a difficult trial and you feel like you can't endure it, you can't go through it any longer, he has what is called his cookie jar. That he can reach into the cookie jar and say, oh, I've done this before, I can do it again. Or I've done something this hard, I can do another hard thing. So create your own cookie jar on what difficult, hard things you can achieve and overcome. Challenge number 7 is the 40% rule. When you think you're done, you are really only 40% done. When you feel like you've worked the hardest you possibly can, you've ran the longest you possibly could, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you're only 40% at your total capacity. So push harder, push through these boundaries, and you'll find that second wind to get into the zone and these flow states. Challenge 8 is to be relentless with your time. Schedule every single minute. Don't waste any more time on social media or watching movies or doing dumb things that don't really fulfill you in life. Manage your time wisely. This is how David Goggins was able to achieve so many things. He managed his time so well that all these things seem superhuman, but he really just applies his time into doing something with every minute of his day. Challenge number 9 is to remove the governor. What he means by that is there's this voice inside of your head that says you can't go any further, you can't continue, you're done, you're past your limit. And its golf cart is there's a governor that makes it so you can't go past a certain speed limit. You can take that off and you can go as fast as it possibly can, but it limits it. So take out the governor. Don't limit yourself. Don't limit the potential that you have. That's what he's saying. When you can't hurt me, you can't limit my potential. So apply that to yourself. The last thing that I loved that he talked about is he shared a story when he was about to die. He was on his deathbed. He couldn't move. His muscles were so tight. He had never stretched or taken care of himself or his nervous system. And he thought to himself, am I comfortable with everything that I've done to my higher power? And the whole last hour of the book is all about a higher power and having something above yourself that you can look towards, that you can have faith in, that you can have accountability to, and that at the end of the day, if you died, you're going to be in line. You're going to see God. Is he going to show you that you lived up to your full potential? Or is he going to show you a version of yourself that is beyond what you could have ever imagined? I want to be able to look into God's eyes and say, I became the best version of myself. I became everything you needed me to be. And that's what he experienced when he was at this near-death experience. So think to yourself, am I ready to meet God and to have him show me the best version of myself? If not, you have work to do. I'll wrap up with some quick stories that he goes over. He goes through Hell Week in Navy SEAL training 3 times because he broke his legs. He broke the world pull-up record after 3 failed attempts. Continually kept trying. He did 4,030 pull-ups in 17 hours. That's insane. He takes souls. He does ultra marathons. He talks about all of his stories about his first ultra marathon, being unprepared, and it's all about his mentality. He talks about his story about going from being 100 pounds overweight, over 300 pounds, and then losing all that weight in 3 weeks to get ready for SEAL training. So he shares a lot of high-impact stories in this book. David Goggins proves that we are capable of so much more than what we currently believe. His challenges aren't about becoming a Navy SEAL or even running ultramarathons. They're about becoming uncommon amongst the uncommon in whatever arena you choose. This is what I also like to call the Mamba mentality, what Kobe Bryant shared, where dance as beautifully as you can in the area that you're given. Become uncommon amongst the uncommon in your area, your field of expertise. And I promise you, you will win at life. So go ahead. I have this and a bunch of other trainings. If you want to break past your limits, it's completely free to go and join the MindFit Sales School community. I'll see you on the inside.